It's morning, and that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Lura.
3, 2. Hey guys, and welcome back to Rotten Mornings. We're so glad to have you. I'm Scott.
I'm Matt.
And we are going to do some reviews of the shows from yesterday. So yesterday, we got a couple of pieces of fan mail. I call it fan mail. It may have been critiques.
Now, I was not a privy to this particular fan mail, so I'm quite interested in what we're about to hear.
Yeah. So I wrote it. We had to do a little bit of fact checking. In our Rotten Mornings episode, we talked about the Green Children being possibly one of the first UFO or alien stories, and I just don't think that's actually anywhere close to the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably if you looked at a Tyrannosaurus looking at the meteorite hurling toward Earth, the Tyrannosaurus probably thought, hey, I can't identify that flying object, and that would be the first UFO story.
Oh, yeah, and as well as the first story about dinosaurs speaking in fluent English.
Scientists have already proven that they can't prove dinosaurs couldn't speak English.
Okay. Let's get back to the reviews. Let's not go on your full-blown crazy dinosaur spoke English rant. We'll save it for another episode.
That's fine. Guys, tune in tomorrow for Dinosaurs Talk to English rant. Matt, did you have fun today?
Dude, I had so much fun. I had so much fun. Everything we really just love doing this stuff. We love, I get so giddy when this stuff comes out, just thinking about the people watching it and just thinking about what you guys think. Let us know what you think, please. The second thing we put out was the We Are Not Alone episode that featured Shadow the Zombie from up in New York, and that was awesome. Great story.
Great. Yeah, that was really, really cool. I like stories that are like, hey, here's a thing and here's the history of the thing, and there's a lot of stuff that happened. But like we discuss all the time about, like, hey, just because something happens doesn't mean it'll happen to you. But he actually had a story where it's like stuff happens, and this is what happened to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, especially considering I know we're going to have a couple of the episodes of the podcast are going to be about those things. And a lot of those things you can still go and experience yourself. So you can have that experience with some of the stuff we're going to tell you about.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then we had what's that?
Before we move past that, let me say, don't forget, guys, send me your stories. Listen to that, see how I'm doing it, and you just hit record on a voice message, send it to me, and I will edit it. It'll sound amazing. Trust me.
Yeah, we still have time for that. It's only the 2nd of October, so absolutely. If people have stories, send them to us. Okay, so now we want to get into episode 1 of Rotten Strips. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I made some notes about that, and the first note I made about it, interesting. It was interesting. If you look at the first episode of Quarantine, which obviously this isn't the same thing, but the first episode of Quarantine was just a guy making a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah, very low bar with that one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it blossomed into something that was almost a little bit higher.
Almost.
Yeah, so if you look at that's all you got with that one, and then you look at this, yeah. I can see our new series is going to be really, really good. I'm super excited about what today's episode might be.
Right, exactly. I can't wait.
Well, you're going to have to.
Now, remember, let's say this for the audience, because we never discuss this like very deeply. A lot of the stuff that we are releasing, we have kind of already put together, but we're still also this whole month working on stuff. But the Rotten Strips episode, we do those a little bit differently. We take a little bit more of a fine-tooth comb to them, right?
That's right.
Explain, Scott.
Oh, okay. So what we do with those, we have pitch meetings, and then brainstorming sessions. We have a team of artists who will render out storyboards for us. Our script writer and the other comedy writers sit in a room, and they usually come up with our scripts. And those are usually handed to us by our assistants prior to shooting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And all of that happens in the imaginary fantasy land.
In the world of imagination. That's from Disney. I'm sorry. I'm kicking it back again. I shouldn't do that.
Wow.
So yeah, we really hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Rotten Strips. I know I had a hoot of a time.
I think that is like
totally.
we kind of tease about it a lot, but because of just kind of location, because of a lot of things, the episodes will be kind of back and forth. It'll be mostly Matt working on an episode, or Matt and 15 people working on an episode, and then the other episodes will be, Scott and Desperation working on an
Scott
episode.
and his friend Desperation, and don't forget the spare.
Yeah, I don't, and also one Taco Bell hot sauce packet.
Yeah, a lot of Taco Bell props.
A lot of Taco Bell props, which is a lot better than hamburger props.
Literally, kind of what we're saying here is don't have any expectations for what Rotten Strips is, because our biggest thing is don't expect it to be anything, but especially don't expect it to be good.
I knew you were going to say that, and it still came as a shock, and it was still funny. So the first episode starts off by winning the Guinness Book of World Records for most trailers for a fictitious series. It's
correct.
fantastic.
Yes, that's my end goal, was to win that. So we've got that in the bag.
So is that it? Are we done?
Well, I mean, I decided to keep going. We're just kind of not return the calls from Guinness. We're going to ignore the whole fictitious part and just go ahead with it anyways. Beautiful.
I like the second section, which I'm calling Where's Weirdo?
Yes.
And it was really, what I thought from a directorial standpoint, Matt, and I love all your work. I think it's really, really innovative. I like that of the 5 minutes, you showed us just the bush for 3 of those minutes.
I'm glad you timed that.
I did. I actually had to go back and make sure that you used over 75% of your time looping a bush. A lot of people.
No, it was just in slow motion. It wasn't loop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't want to waste the time trying to loop a piece of film. That's way too much.
That's fair. I just I don't know that everyone realizes how hilarious that is.
I hope they do.
Me too, because it's really funny. Hey guys, we've got this brand new series. It's bird watching. If you listen to the video, you can hear a red-headed cockatoo.
Listen, if you pay close attention, there's an Easter egg in that bushing there. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, there's an Easter egg in that weirdo.
Yes, there are literally 2 different Easter eggs that pop up on screen, and I'd love to see if anybody ever figures out what I'm talking about. That's truthful.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair. We leave from that section and go to an interesting take on the Bop It.
Yes. The Bop It depression.
Man, my least favorite version of that game. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
But
your
for some
favorite
reason,
version of the game is the Taco Bell version where it just says "Eat it."
yeah, and actually, it's not even Bop It. It's just Taco Bell.
Yeah, just say this. It's just the guy in the window, like, yeah, could you eat it and move on?
In my head, I'm like grabbing the sauce and twist it, and squirt it, and crunch it,
Rip it,
and eat
trip it, poop it, regret it,
repeat it. So good, and then we get into the real first episode section, which I think if anyone was looking into just kind of a snapshot of how things go with you and Brandy, or even with like Brandy and you and I, it's very often that she's looking at one or both of us going, what the hell is he doing?
Exactly. And let me go ahead and assure you that Brandy wrote that segment because she was listen, she was inside the house while I was outside the house dancing, and she was literally looking out the window going, what the hell is that idiot doing? And she couldn't get her camera up fast enough to record me being stupid. So
great.
She wanted to record that scene.
That's so good. From her point of view, looking out at her husband hiding in the bushes for, I timed it 17 minutes. It's gotta be like probably just a big relief to her, honestly. Like,
yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I didn't want to
takes of that.
I didn't want to talk about this because it's kind of personal, but we were fighting at the time, and that's where I go. That's my happy place. I just throw that mask on, and I go and I just hunker down in those bushes behind the house.
And then you pop up not once, but 3 times.
Thrice, my man.
Oh man. Well, I had a lot of fun. What's that?
I was just gonna say 2 of the things that you contributed right off the bat, that the intro and the outro is getting a lot of good praise because those look beautiful.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I think they look neat. I think they worked well with the episode. Dude, and you know what? I brought up these things. I totally didn't give you props for something that like blew me away. I really like your stage.
Oh, yeah, I totally built that.
That's a fantastic stage.
I did. I built that whole thing. I built it just for that scene. I took it down already. I don't have it here anymore.
Well, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's actually a stolen set from Hellbilly Hollow in Vincent, Alabama.
Gotcha.
You might see a few of those as you watch my episodes.
Well, I liked it nonetheless. You know what? Whoever it is, good use of it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And thank you and I give him a shout out right now. We're going to the Chicken House. We went to the Chicken House last night, and we're going to Hellbilly Hollow tonight. And Hellbilly Hollow is great. And Tim out there is amazing. You definitely need to check out those 2 haunts.
Hey, for the viewers out there, you guys need to understand something about this podcast, how we record it, and how shitty we understand time.
Yes.
This podcast will be coming out October 2nd.
Yes.
In the morning of October 2nd.
Technically, we're only a few minutes away from that.
Right. So if Matt went to it last night,
Shit, did I mess that up? Damn it.
yeah, a lot.
No, wait, this comes out tomorrow morning. So it'll be tonight. Tonight, we'll be
Yes.
going to the haunted chicken house. And tomorrow night, we'll be going to That's what I meant. I did say, ha, yee-haw.
Jesus, what just happened?
I don't know.
I like right in the middle of it, you became the donkey from Midsummer Night's Dream. All about theater nerds? Nobody? No theater nerds? Okay.
No.
All right, guys. Well, that is our review section. We're going to jump into our supernatural section. So if you guys want to stick around for that, we'd love to have you.
Oh, wait. 1 sec.
Oh,
one thing. Let's tell them what to expect after this.
Oh, yeah. What's coming up for today, right?
Yes, today we have the Unfinished Reviews, episode 1, 6 o'clock. We have the Rotten Strips at episode 2 at 7, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And we will be going live from the haunted chicken house tonight.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah. So you guys tune in for those things, and also tune in for a new section, which I'm really looking forward to happening sometime later on this month, which is unfinished reviews.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna go very super meta, guys. If you guys could join us out at the haunt tonight, we'd love to see you. And if not, enjoy the rest of the broadcasting, and maybe we'll get to chat some in our live tonight.
Indeed, and we will be going live hopefully every night in October after all the stuff is said and done to just do a little discussion. So you guys join us, and thanks for the people that did. Stay rotten.
Stay rotten. Like the very best ghost stories, tonight's tale happened on a dark and stormy night. Outside the courthouse, a mob began to form. The mob was hungry for the blood of Henry Wells. Henry Wells looked out the top window of the courthouse at the mob gathering below him. He yelled at them, "I'm innocent. If you kill me, I'm going to haunt you for the rest of your lives." The crowd got bigger, larger. It stormed. The rain came down. And then a giant crack of lightning struck the tree that they had gathered beneath, spreading and dispersing the crowd. The angry mob stormed the courthouse and killed Henry Wells. The next morning, a passerby looked up at the window that Henry Wells was looking out of, and there they saw, in the glass pane, the face of Henry Wells.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
You can hear me pretty well?
I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you just fine. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and start.
I do have your volume cut down a little bit, so just in case maybe if there's a feedback loop, it won't be that bad.
That's fine. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2. Okay, Matt. So that's the story of Henry Wells, which I know that you're already familiar with. What do you think about that story?
That's wild, man. I think it's pretty interesting how it kind of correlates with how I feel about the paranormal or ghost in the first place. Is that I feel a lot of the time it's more like a sort of a scar in reality, or a scar in where something happened and just stains it. And I've always, that particular case is what's always led me back to that conclusion.
That's really interesting that you say that. There's another thing about that I want to talk about here in a minute. But recently I was listening to a podcast about the Bell Ghost or the Bell Witch,
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
The Bell
And
Witch, right?
they were saying that like it wasn't that much, but the more that they were scared of it and like fed it, that it became a thing,
Mm.
right?
Well, I mean, I think that would be similar to the idea of if it was a scar, the idea of if you leave a scar alone, that eventually it grows over, but the more you pick it, the more it grows and infests.
Sure, sure. So there's a lot to like the backstory of this. I just kind of told like the ending, but what had happened was they had a courthouse, and this was right around Civil War times, and the courthouse had gotten burned, and the townsfolk were like, "Nope, got to have a courthouse." So they built a brand new, beautiful courthouse, and two guys go in there. Henry Wells was one of them, and they catch the courthouse on fire.
Like,
And
is there a story behind why they caught the courthouse on fire? I mean, I'm familiar with the idea.
So there's two stories, and of course now a lot of this is lost to legend and myth. But the two stories that I'm familiar with, one is uh, according to according to some other witnesses, they said that he had gone in and um, they had gone in to rob the place, right? So they go in to rob the place and they knock over a candle which was left burning, and the candle caught it on fire.
Okay, hold on. Let me just this whole knocking a candle over. There are way too many stories, okay, in the
Mm-hmm.
past that happened because somebody knocked a candle over, or the what was the New York burning when the cow kicked the candle over. How many candles were kicked over? And yet, like, I don't personally know a story in my history of a candle kick over situation, but they make it sound like if a candle got kicked over, the world was going to burn down. Like it just happened. I guess maybe currently might be a hot topic. Excuse the pun. Um, yeah, it's getting hot in here.
Wow. Jeez. Jeez, I see what you did there. So I guess now you brought up an interesting point. Now, back in those days, the candles that they used were very different than candles that we use today. The candles that we use today are a lot safer, and they can self-extinguish. But the candles that they used back then were actually sticks of dynamite.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
can see like maybe, and here I'm just again spitballing, and it doesn't really matter. I can't travel back and warn them about this, but maybe kicking over the candle was actually attempting to not make it a problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So the other story that came about was that Henry Wells, he was a freed slave, um, and he had been accused of raping a white woman. And you get a lot of like racial things and themes that come into this, but there is, of course, in legend and myth, a story that he was approached by someone that said, "Hey, you've been accused of this." Um, you should set the courthouse on fire and burn all the documents that would, you know,
Make you culpable
guilty.
or whatever.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there's that story too, and like that's a big thing. But the reality is that he was just kind of a mean son of a gun. Like he always carried a razor blade and wasn't afraid to use it. Like the townsfolk didn't like him, and they were convinced that he was the one that had burned the thing down. So they built a third one, and it's in the third courthouse that when they go and find him and finally arrest him, this is a couple of years later, they start seeing the townsfolk like, hey, this is the guy who burned down our courthouse. We all hate him. We're going to lynch him. And so the sheriff's like, oh, no, you're not. I'm going to put him in the highest part of the courthouse, and he's protected until, justice can be served. So that's kind of the two ways that the courthouse could have burned.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, what's really interesting, and for those of you who don't live in Alabama or who didn't grow up with the stories of Catherine Tucker Wyndham, you may not be familiar with this story. If you go to this courthouse today and look
Today.
at today and look in the courthouse window, you will see something that looks like someone made a face out of a piece of toast.
Yes, like a Jesus toast.
Yeah, it's not like a 3D rendering of a man's face.
It would be awesome if it was just like if you looked up there like every 30 minutes, like they just played a tape recording of something and scared the hell out of everybody.
Dude, that'd be so great. In 2001, actually, they were going to tear the courthouse down, and they took that pane out and replaced it with a piece of wood that they had drawn a smiley face on.
Shut up.
I'm serious. It
Oh,
actually
no.
happened.
Oh,
It's
no.
so good. So yeah, though this is great because it's a ghost story. It's a great ghost story.
It
And
is.
it's a ghost story that you can actually go to. You know, so many times we hear a ghost story and you go there and you're like, oh, maybe I felt a thing, or you're trying to convince yourself. No, this is a thing that is actually, you can go there, you can see it, and this has been over 100 years that people have been going and seeing the face in the courthouse window. It's absolutely insane. I don't know if you know this story, Matt, but this might interest you. As I was doing the research on this, it just kind of brought back a memory. In Thomasville, Alabama, which is about 100 miles from there, which is where Catherine Tucker Wyndham grew up, there was a church, and this happened when I was like a teenager. There was a church, and they rebuilt the windows. They put new windows in, and the new windows were double paned, right? Well, the first like major temperature shift from inside to outside created a fog on the inside of the double pane in the face of Satan.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So this church, and it's right up the road from where I'm at right now, in its brand new glass window pane has the face of Satan.
And like they replaced it one day and they just replaced it with an angry face, like with a piece of wood with an angry face painted on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gotta keep the charm.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any tourism without the face of Satan in your church window.
Well, let me ask you this. How many times do you think the preacher was like, Satan is literally right outside your window?
You know what? I don't know if it ever happened, but I really wanted to.
I know.
I want it to still happen. I want people to be like, hey, you never know outside what window
You'll find the face of Satan.
This is the dumbest thing, but I kind of feel like sharing it at this point because you brought that up.
Okay, shoot.
We were talking about like dumb things that we were scared of in a previous podcast, right?
Yes, ice sharks.
Okay. This makes no sense. There's no basis of this at all. But like when I was little, wee little, I was afraid to go to the bathroom in the dark because I was afraid Satan's face would be in the toilet water. It doesn't make any sense. Like not anything long. And like wow, like what's his neck stuck in the drain? Like, hey, really let me out. I can't breathe. Like I don't know why that was a thing.
So, like, Satan is such an idiot. Like, the one place he's going to pop up at is where you're about to pee on him. That's Satan for you. That crazy guy. Like, you peed on me. I was going to scare you, but I guess I got the pee on me, so I look like a fool.
Well, you laugh, but when we go to hell and we wake up in hell and our necks are in drains and our faces are in toilet bowls, then you'll know.
Listen, I agree with that. But if it's a punishment in hell, why would Satan just willingly do it for, like, giggles? Like, why is he coming? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, is he punishing himself? Or...
We've gone crazily off topic, and that's delightful.
Peeing on Satan.
Being on Satan.
I'm gonna
The
pee on Satan.
guys, the drum solo for the song is 48 minutes long. 48 seconds. Sorry.
Boom, 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 boom.
The okay, so back to the lightning portrait of Henry Wales, as it's sometimes called. I did want to throw in this little snippet. There is a really cool, like, why this thing is a thing, and then I kind of want to talk about that a little bit too, Matt. So the science behind why it still exists and why it existed in the first place is, according to people who are much smarter than me, he had his face very close to the window. Okay,
Right.
It is. It's dark inside. It's dark outside. There's a mob down below him. They've got like pitchforks and stuff, but his face is really close to the window. And when the lightning strikes so close and so ferociously and so bright, it acted like a flash. And glass at the time was made with the same chemicals of photographic film. So it essentially created a negative of his face using in the same way a photograph would.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So that's kind of the science behind it. But here's my problem with that. Because I've always heard that story and I was like, oh, it's a cool ghost story. And then it's a cool like science story, right? But I was thinking today, surely people have been putting their face close to glass, looking out the window at lightning storms forever. And there's never been another case of this?
You can't discredit the idea that just one fluke incident, everything was perfect, though.
That's fair. If you
because
look at
Stranger Things, you know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, I give you that. I'll give you that. It was just kind of like, maybe there's more to the ghost story. But you're right. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's just more to the odds.
It's probably the odds.
I know during this past hurricane, there was a lot of lightning, and if you watch the trailer for Rotten Strips, as that person got close to the window, that's definitely not a negative you want.
God.
What's this little tiny smudge on the window? We don't know. It won't come off.
Oh, it came off all right. So thanks for joining us for this episode.
Yeah, guys, this has been a lot of fun. If you guys have never heard of the Face in the Courthouse Window, I highly suggest looking it up. We may throw some links under the Facebook post. If you haven't already subscribed to Rotten Reviews on Facebook, go check us out. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. You guys have a wonderful rotten morning.
Yeah, you guys stay rotten. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on Spotify so you get all our episodes.
Stay rotten.
Stay rotten.